Wow,
Yeah, it's working.
wow, wow. Author Marc Rosenberg. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
You're welcome to the One Student, One Book, One Author Mantra, the Global Readers Circle, the ultimate podcast that is designed to help inspire, motivate, and make a life of every global person, especially the student. On behalf of the Guardian Cross Global Community, I feel so humbled, so opportune to have a fine mind like you on the show, Author Marc Rosenberg.
Thank you.
So, on the show, we like you to tell us about you. Who is Author Marc Rosenberg?
Well, I'm American. I grew up in Texas, but I've spent half my adult life in Australia. And I spent about 40 years as a script, and I've worked with Daniel Radcliffe and Miles Davis and Jeremy Irons and a lot of other celebrity actors. And then I sort of got tired of screenwriting and decided to write a novel, which was Kids Game. And that's coming out in September. And, it would be great if people could read it. It's an espionage thriller. And so far, it's gotten terrific reviews.
Wow, wow, amazing. Well, since the show is about reading, I'd like you to talk to us about your reading lifestyle. When
Yeah,
did you fall in love with the fun task of reading? And when did you make it very intentional to stay a committed reader? Share this story with us.
yeah, I got into reading late. I wasn't a big reader until I was about 14. And then I found some books under my father's bed, which interested me. And that sort of kicked off my reading habit. So I've been a pretty avid reader for most of my life. And, at university, you read a lot of literature. And then as time goes on, you start reading things for enjoyment.
Wow, amazing. At 14 years, you are already a lifelong learner. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, what would you consider? What would you consider? What do you think made reading a fun task for you? At what point do you feel that you could not stop reading? Like you realized that you would pass for a room full of books?
I think one of the things that got me encouraged to read was I thought it made me more intelligent. That
Hmm.
I like the idea of
You,
hearing.
you, said, you said you thought.
Yeah, I I
Go
liked
on,
hearing,
go
being able to visit other parts of the world through
Yeah.
reading and hearing
Hmm.
what other people thought about life. So, yeah, that was the main thing.
Wow, wow, amazing, awesome. So let's talk about the significance of reading for you. Like you said it felt like it was making you feel intelligent.
Yeah.
So at this point in your life, at this stage you are, what would you say would have happened to you if you were not an elliptical reader?
Well, I think I would have been a lot dumber. Um, it just opens your mind to so many different philosophies and ways of thinking that if I hadn't if I hadn't been a reader, I think that I would have been a fairly average person.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing that. And
yeah.
today, you are not an average person. You are an author of authority. So I like to talk to us about your writings. What exactly are you writing? Who are your target audience? What message are you trying to pass? I'm sure you are writing with your readers in mind.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of writing is self-analytical. You find out a lot about yourself when you're writing because you have to see characters through their eyes and decide relate to how you can empathize. And yeah, so uh, that's kind of how I go about it. Writing is trying to find some sort of authenticity in what you do.
Mm, yeah.
I don't know if that answered your question.
Wow, 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 wow. Amazing. Sure, it does. We like the fact that you are sharing your story, and we imagine that you have a target audience. What problems are you trying to solve?
Well, there's a lot of inequality in the world, and I think a lot of that is because people don't know how to. And part of writing is
Mm,
communicating. So it's just a matter of
mm,
opening people's eyes to
mm.
different points of view.
So is that what kids game is about?
Yeah, Kids Game is about the Russians' involvement in a chemical weapons attack on Syria. And
Mm,
interwoven with that is the protagonist's love for his daughter and trying to find a way to save her life from a terminal disease. So the two stories are sort of interwoven, but in terms of the international politics, it's about the cruelty involved, the power games that the people
yeah.
who are causing so much death and destruction really see it's a board game. They don't understand or they don't want to understand how people's lives are changed and how they suffer from the ideas of idiots that don't really understand or empathize with people.
Wow, wow, amazing. Amazing. That's awesome. So tell us about Kids Game. When are we expecting to have Kids Game in our hands? Do you have a paperback? Is it on Amazon?
Yeah,
Is that your own solution? What's your next stuff?
it's being released September 24th, and it's on Amazon as a Kindle and as a paperback. And
Mm,
I expect, it's already received many rave reviews, so I'm hoping that will encourage people to read it. And if people want to know more about it, they can go to my website, which is mrcrsnbrg.com. So it's my name without any vowels.com.
yeah.
And they can read the reviews and learn more about the book.
Wow, wow. Mark Rosenberg. I feel so humbled and opportune to have a fine mind like you on the book show. But before you continue, I'd like to talk to our audience worldwide. We've been on to Otto Mark Rosenberg. Otto Mark Rosenberg is the author of Kids Game. Well, I'm sure that we'll be adding his appropriate link on a podcast note. So you can share, you can tell your friends about Otto Mark Rosenberg, you can leave a review, but don't forget that you will become the books you read and the people you meet. The podcast community presents to you Otto Mark Rosenberg, and we're looking forward to see how devourer you could become with Otto Mark Rosenberg. So Otto Mark Rosenberg, let's talk about you. Let's talk about you. Are you a social media person? What are the strategies you're trying to use to build a rapport with your reading community? I mean, your fan base.
Yeah, I'm not really, I never was a big social media person because my websites keep getting hacked. But lately, with trying to promote my book, I've become more engaged with social media, with writers and groups of writers, and
Yeah.
people outside the writing community that like good stories. So I have Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and all those sorts of things I'm engaged in now.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Wow, that's awesome. Well, we get to the part of the show where you would have to name 10 books that would probably stay with you, 10 books that has clicked for you, 10 books that has helped you stay inspired, 10 authors that has taken you by their hands through their writings. I'm wondering, would you be willing to take that challenge?
Yeah, I'm willing to try. Yep.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. But before you do, I'd like you to tell us what inspires you, what keeps you going. I mean, in a world of writers blog, all the pitfalls, the normal intricacies that comes with everyday life, you still enjoy to keep the golden pen going on with the writing. What keeps you going? What inspires you?
Well, writing is a never-ending process, and I like that idea that you never really finish. It's always something to look forward to, something that you want to accomplish, something about your ideas and what you learn. It always evolves, and I think it's a challenge. I like the challenge.
Mm, amazing. Amazing. It's the challenge for you. Wow.
Yeah.
So let's see the Allen in your life. Well, we like you to take the 10 books challenge. But before you do, I like to talk to our audience globally that we've been on to author Marc Rosenberg. Author Marc Rosenberg is the author of Kids Game. Like it's our policy. We'll be leaving his website and his link on Amazon on the podcast note. So you have an opportunity to build a rapport with Marc Rosenberg. And not just that, you need to tell your friend, you need to tell your community, you need to share this good news to your community. Don't forget that you become the books you read and the people you meet, and we present to you author Marc Rosenberg. Don't forget, he's an amazing author you should watch out for. Author Marc Rosenberg, are you there?
I'm here. Yep.
Wow, awesome, awesome. So we get to the show, this part of the show where you would have to name 10 books. First, I have to tell you, you're allowed to call the name of the author, the name of the book, and you're also allowed to talk about the ones that really clicked for you.
Okay.
Are
Uh,
you ready?
yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, I'll be counting it on you. I'll be counting it on you. So
Yeah.
you have the floor right now. Go on, Automac Rosenberg.
Okay. One of the authors that I really like, and I've read a lot of books, is Patricia Highsmith, who wrote The Talented Mr. Ripley, Ripley's Game, The Glass Cell, just a lot of really great books about Ripley and a lot of other Dog's Ransom. Those are all Patricia Highsmith books. The other author that made a big impression on me was John Updike, who wrote um, Rabbit at Rest and Rabbit Run. And there's like 5 of the Rabbit series, which I always like to read. Raymond Carver, who wrote a lot of terrific collections of short stories. I'm very keen on James Salter, who wrote All That Is and Sports and a Pastime. And very, very good books. I really liked A Fine Balance, which is Rushdie Mystery, who's an Indian writer, and Salman Rushdie writes great things. V.S. Naipaul is a terrific writer.
Mark Rosenberg. Slow down, slow down. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Well, I've been counting on you, and we have five names, though you've been mentioning books in their series. We have five authors, and I'm wondering who the next five authors will be. But I like you to take it slow so our audience globally gets to follow your flow.
Okay. I'm speaking too quickly.
No, go on, go on.
Yeah.
I mean, you're mentioning so many authors, and
Yeah.
I'm almost losing count. But we have number five.
Okay. We talked about Patricia Highsmith, John Updike.
No, no, we do have five authors. You mentioned Patricia. Yeah, we do have five authors.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, you have five left. So you're supposed to be very meticulous so we get to know the ones that really click with you.
Yeah.
You have
Well,
everything intact.
yeah.
Go on, go on.
Those those authors are ones that really click with me, and of course, Chekhov, Anton Chekhov, and these are classic authors. And
Mm.
then who else? You know, I've so many
Yeah, we
books.
have four. We have four to go. We have four to go. We are
Okay,
listening. We're following.
all right, all right. Let's see who else. Um, Gee, you know, you get put on the spot with these things. Um, who else am I reading that I really like to read? I just read. I can't remember her first name, but her last name is Napolitano. She wrote a book called Hello Beautiful. Um,
Hmm.
and Jonathan Frisson, who wrote The Corrections, is a terrific author. And Stephen King is a terrific author.
Hmm.
James
Wow.
Joyce.
Hmm.
And
And
then
the final one, Mark Rosenberg.
do I have one left to do?
Yeah, just one left.
Okay, one left. Let's see. Boy, there's so many great authors. Um,
Sure.
hmm. Now, Jared Lee, he's a friend of mine, and he's also a terrific author.
Wow, that's an author you know in person. That's amazing. That's very amazing when you get to recommend authors you know in person and you also want people to read their book. I must confess, Author Mark Rosenberg, you are just a very wonderful and a very nice mind. Thank you very much. Thank you for mentioning your friend, Mark
Yeah,
Rosenberg.
it's a pleasure.
Well, before you go, I like you to leave your last words. What would you think would be your last words to people, this set of folks who don't read, and these ones who have books and barely read? What would be your last words to people like that?
Okay. One of the authors I forgot to mention was Kurt Vonnegut, but he had a quote that means a lot to me where he said, "Wrong directions are dancing lessons from God." And
Hmm.
to me, that means you don't always get where you go, but you're given an opportunity or gifted an opportunity to learn new things.
Wow, 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 that's amazing. Do you remember a time in your life that reading had helped you so much? Would you like to share?
Um, well, I can't think of anything specific where reading has helped me. But that Kurt Vonnegut quote is something that I think about all the time, that I believe that you get pushed in the direction you need to go. So
Yeah.
I think it's important.
Wow, wow, wow. Well, if you're streaming this, we've been on to Mark Rosenberg, the author of Kids Game. Is an amazing mind on the on this session tonight. And I have one word for you. I have one word for you. Soar. And before you soar, you need to know that you would become the books you read and the people you meet. And here we are presenting you an opportunity to meet a fine mind like Otto Mark Rosenberg. Well, Otto Mark Rosenberg is going to be a part of our global reading campaign and author store. He's going to be part of our authors Zoom meet and greet. And trust me, this man will pass for a room full of books. So like I said, we are going to add a link on our podcast note, and you have not just to read this book, you have the right to share with your community, your friends, with everyone around you, because you would become the books you read and the people you meet. So you have an opportunity to meet Mark Rosenberg on today's episode. And well, I have this promise for you that you will have a great devouring from Mark Rosenberg. Well, Mark Rosenberg, thank you very much. Thank you very much for honoring our Ivy, and thank you for showing interest to volunteer on the Guardian Cross podcast community. We are so humbled. We feel so privileged.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much. Wow. On the one student, one book, one author mantra tonight, we had Kids Game from Mark Rosenberg on the show. And trust me, Mark Rosenberg is an amazing mind and a masterpiece that you would love to devour. Don't forget, we are going to be adding his podcast note, link on our note, and you need to have an opportunity to devour his book. You need to have an opportunity to build a rapport with him. Well, he's open on social media, and you have an opportunity to build a rapport with him. So you look up Mark Rosenberg. It was nice having Mark Rosenberg on today's episode, and I am your humble host, Smart Steward Udo. Don't forget that you become the books you read and the people you meet. Mark Rosenberg will be willing to wait on you to join his fan base. Well, Mark Rosenberg, thank you very much. We feel very humbled. Thank you for honoring our Ivy.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.